Oh, my name's Chris Anderson. I'm just going to do a short video on what I use to catch stripers. It won't be long, but you'll learn how. I'm going to show you some bunker techniques. What else? Let's see. How to use pencil poppers and plugs, and how to use bucktails and curly tails with curly tails. Okay. First thing I want to start out with is bunker snagging. Usually, bunker snagging involves you in a boat going over a bunker school, and you cast over a weighted treble hook. Yes, but a lot of people think you can use light gear. Well, that's where you get tricked. Every once in a while. So here I have a weighted treble hook, right here, where my finger's pointing, and I have 15-pound test, a pen captive pole, and a pen captive reel. Now, when a lot of people think since you can use light tackle for bunker because they don't weigh a lot, but that's wrong. Because every once in a while you hook into a bunker, and this is when you're gonna live line. You hook into a bunker, and when you're reeling it in, a striper goes after it and bites it, and if it tries to eat it. And when you hook into if you hook into that striper and possibly land him, you need to use a little bit heavier gear, like I showed you. This is actually my bluefish pole, but this is exactly what I would use for bunker snagging. Because a striper will bite in, because with light tackle, a big striper, maybe a 20-pounder, 30-pounder, will snap your pole in half. So take that on mind when you're snagging bunker. Alright? Okay. Now moving on, how to live line on them for them. You always should use a conventional reel. For early spring, I use a Jarvis Walker reel, the light tip, and a Akuma Classic Pro with a 4:1 gear ratio. And this is loaded up with 30-pound heads. And when you're fishing for stripers, this is a very effective way to use. And I don't have them with me, but the kind of hook you use is I use a 40-pound leader for this. But the kind of hook you use is a circle hook. It doesn't matter what kind of circle hook it is, just some kind of circle hook. Alright, and that will work very, very effectively. And a lot of guys think you should hook them through the mouth. You don't. If you're going to use live bunker, you need to hook them through the side, towards where the thing on top is, from the head, and you go and then brush the top where the gills are. Just hook it right there. That's the best place to hook them. Now, don't be fooled since I'm only 12, but these techniques really work because I use them all the time. Now moving on to late season stripers. I use, for late season stripers, I have an event reel loaded up with 65-pound braid with a Daiwa Celeste that has about an inch thick at the bottom. So you can pull up a very large striper without getting in trouble. And once in a while, you might pull up a tuna like an albacore or a yellowfin by mistake. So you won't be in trouble if you hook into a nice yellowfin. I'd say maybe about 80-pound yellowfin, you won't be in trouble. Now, moving on to plugging and bucktailing for stripers. Here I have my plug box. And there's a variety of plugs I use. The first plug I'm going to show you is a pencil popper. Right here. Very, very effective. And you always want to tie a Palomar for these. The reason why I tie a Palomar is it's 100% knot, and you're guaranteed not to break it. To break when you're reeling in a nice fish, if you are reeling in a nice fish. So I'm going to hook this here. And a lot of guys use my favorite. And when you're when you're on a boat, you have to use a movement as this, as I'll show you right now. You reel up and down, reel up and down, reel up and down, reel up and down. Okay, I'm not going to be able to show you this, but when you're in a surf, you need a fairly long pole. You tie it up. Hold your hand maybe about here. I hope you can see that. Then you start popping it. Popping and reeling, popping and reeling, popping and reeling. And that's what you do for pencil poppers. Now, for other ones, you can use any movement you want. Here I just have an M80 popper. It's a little bit bigger. So they have all these have beads inside, so they make sound in the water, so it can attract stripers. Here's a slider. They work very effective too. These are two of my favorite swimming plugs. This one's yellow, so it'll show up nice in the water. This is blue with gold spots on it, so it'll show up where it'll attract stripers. Now, when you're using these, you don't need any movement because they naturally move as they're swimming. This is a plug that's usually not used. It's bigger. It resembles a bunker. This is called, I forgot what it's called, but it resembles, it's called a bunker. It is called a bunker plug. Now these, you can see the spots on the side, so they're bunker plugs. You just reel in one of these, and usually you use these when you're by a bunker school and you're not live lining. You swim this out of the bunker school, and for striper season, it'll definitely go after it, guaranteedly. Now moving on to bucktails for stripe. It doesn't matter what kind of bucktail you use. Here I have a Spro 1 ounce bucktail. It's pink. You can either use pink, chartreuse, or white. Those are the only choices you have. And, oh yeah, for plugging, you need a 40-pound leader. I use a 40-pound leader. And what you do is you take a curly tail and you put it on. This is pink and chartreuse, so it doesn't mix. Usually use chartreuse and chartreuse. This is what you do. You apply the hook through the front of the curly tail, and you pull it through, and you keep pushing. And as you push, it'll naturally go on by itself. It'll be pushed through by itself. And you keep pushing, and it'll eventually come on. Can't put that too far. And you push it up hard. Very effective. And usually when you're fishing in the surf, you throw this out. And this is what I do. This is a very poor way to fish for stripers, but it works. You take a very large sinker with a 3-way swivel. You put the bucktail on the curly tail, and you reel it about a foot up, And usually you use a very large sinker. You reel about a foot up and just leave the bucktail like that, and it'll just start moving naturally. And the sinker won't move. And that's a very good way. Now, this is one of my cod grubs. That it's a curly tail, but it's a grub for cod too. So I didn't have any good curly tails, but I did have one that's very effective. Here I have Kalen's tournament tested best Mogambo grub. It's glow in the dark. It's 6 inches, so it's very large. This has a really, really curly tail. So you can see it. It's very floppy, so it'll move a lot in the water, and it'll attract the attention of stripers. For this one, you attach it almost the same. Since it's bigger, you have to hook it through it early. So you just hook it through, just push it back up, quick, nice and quick. Just pull the hair down. That'll catch you a striper. Well, this is the end of my video. If you want, you can email me at sayhellotowrestler@yahoo.com and ask me any questions or any corrections that I can have. And if you want more tips on other fish, you'll have to wait till my next video comes out. My next video would probably be around what we use for fluke, or what we use for blackfish, blues. But I'll get that to you in time, alright? Alright? I hope you enjoyed my video.